I don't even know what's going on with the gaming industry anymore, but it's getting ridiculous by the day. If you've played The Sims 4, you already know it's a toxic cesspool of woke ideology. They have this Love Struck update that has essentially removed all traditional language in relationships. Your husband and wife is only known as a spouse now. You can't even have husband marriages in there, which is what LGBTQ community people have fought for years. No, now it's just spouse, devoid of any gender, because we can't have gender specification, guys. It's offensive. I wonder how these guys speak Spanish because you can't even conjugate the masculine or feminine like aspect of words, right? Everything is just going to be some kind of weird gender neutral thing. But yeah, no longer husband and wife. Fiance and fiance is just engaged, and boyfriend girlfriend is just partner. They do this, guys, to cater to a small percentage of people who don't even support anything that's, I guess, catered towards them. You look at all the movies that come out, all the video games that come out, all the TV shows. If they inject all this weird DEI and woke ideologies and LGBTQ narratives, they all fail. They make no money. They get canceled. They get review bombed. It's literally a modern audience that's invisible. Where's this modern audience at that's supporting stuff like The Sims 4 removing all this love language lingo so that they don't offend anybody because we need to be gender neutral? I don't know. But now, if you look at the Reddit, which is possibly one of the most cringe, autistic filled. I mean, look at this. The Grim Reaper got their sim pregnant. It's like, I've never seen such a weird, woke community of gamers in my life. The Reddit is just full of cringe. Like, I can't even. I'm so glad I don't play this game. But we actually have some people upset. Not because of this actual situation, but because there's a modder that made a mod for this game called Political BS Removers, where these are mods that remove some of the stuff that has been pushed with this update. You can see they're talking about the language for Sims relationships that has been made more neutral. Now this patch removes it. They said they made this while waiting for the EP to come out because they were bored and got pissed in the meantime. Max has fully embraced the pronouns idiocy in the last EPs. This mod removes the pronouns they're giving to the pre-mades. And you have all the packs and this and that. And you can see people are actually thankful for it because nobody wants political BS. But if you go back to the actual Reddit, you can see these people are upset. These people that have to be oppressed. They have to be victims. They have to make sure people use the proper language when talking to them. When, in all honesty, nobody wants this. Nobody really buys into it. Most of the political activists that come out there and are so outspoken about it, they really don't care because, again, all the stuff that they try to push all this stuff onto fails. If anybody really wanted it, all this nonsense, like Suicide Squad that came out and has Mrs. Freeze now, it would have done successful. It wouldn't be backlashed against. There wouldn't be outrage. This wouldn't be happening if people wanted this, guys. And you see this individual put, wow, I guess I'm just political BS to some people. He could have called it anything else and it would be fine. But I guess that would be too much to ask of some people. And that's the thing, is this victim complex that these people put out there. All right. You're telling me that they just couldn't leave the original language for relationships in the game? You know, the stuff that was removed right here. You couldn't just have everything. You guys want diversity, but y'all's diversity has stuff removed. Instead of having options for husband and wife, like let's say, you know, same-sex marriage. Let's say there's a lesbian player in the game. She wants a wife-wife relationship. What if she wants that? They don't even have that option anymore. They just have to be called spouse. You can't have same-sex. You can't have heterosexual marriages. It's just spouse. Because the small percentage of people that EA and Maxis are catering to get offended by the thought of husband or wife being used as a pronoun in a relationship. Think about that logic. That is nuts, in my opinion. You couldn't just be inclusive, real diversity, and have husband, wife, and spouse, all as options for everybody. You couldn't have fiance, fiancée, and engaged all as options, boyfriend, girlfriend, and partner, all as options. No. This is the problem. And this is also the same thing that Pokemon had when Pokemon Go had this update. You want to take things out to force woke shit in instead of leaving all of the stuff, traditional, progressive, whatever you want to call it, have it all in there. That's the problem. You're force feeding, you're shoehorning, you're putting this nonsense down gamers' throats. I'm so glad I don't play The Sims 4. So, yeah, this whole Reddit thread is just crying about it. You can say, comments are now locked since most people seem to lack the intellect required to have a discussion that doesn't lead to insults. There's nothing political or bullshit about inclusive language, and if you have a problem with it, you can show yourself to the door and get a permanent ban. Don't care. That's an actual mod. If you guys don't realize, anytime any kind of political discussion comes that's anti-woke, it's the woke side that throws the insults, that throws the bans, that throws the suspensions, that goes personal with it, that calls people retarded, that says they don't have intellectual capabilities to have a discussion. No, guys, you guys don't have the intellectual capability to actually be normal fucking human beings. This is political. All this is a woke agenda. That's political. That's extreme progressiveness. And you see people are saying stuff that's being pushed from the top. Rarely has a short phrase said so much about someone's worldview. I'm just surprised they didn't claim anything was being shoved down their throat, because 99.9% of the time, that's the phrase all the phobes are obsessed with using. They pretend the 1% cares about LGBTQ rights while crying whenever anyone does anything that takes away any of the 1%'s power. How much you want to bet they're anti-Semitic? I mean, most bigotry has some kind of religious component, so maybe he's upset that God is pushing this on him, since that would be the top. No nonsense. Ugly venom, ugly vitriol, and they're so blind. They want their echo chamber. Again, these guys want diversity, but only if your individual thought and what makes you an individual person is removed. You can't be like, hey, I'm a husband. You have to be like, I'm a spouse. I'm a wife. No, you're a spouse. You have to all be the same. How is that diverse if you're limiting things to 3 options: spouse, partner, and engaged? They don't understand that is literally what is called a woke narrative, because they want to control it. It's ideologies. It's nonsense. And this Reddit is just so fucking pissed off. But then when you go to the actual thing that's on Patreon with the mod, you can see people are actually happy about this. You're the hero we need but do not deserve. Thank you for this, Zero. Truly, as a gender dysphoric gay man right now, I don't want these changes. I fought for inclusion, diversity before as an activist, sure, but not erasure of gendered languages. Adding gender-neutral things shouldn't come at the cost of erasing already established truths. That's totally not what I think many of the older generation of LGBT activists fought for. I know this is a rambling of a jaded former activist, but thanks. And that's exactly what they want, to erase all, I guess, gender stereotypes. I don't even know what the fucking retarded buzzwords are that they use, but they don't want males to be males and females to be males. And again, this is also just the tip of it. We've seen all the other nonsense with the scars, where it's where your character could literally have scars from getting breast reduction surgery and scars from getting post and pre-op nonsense. It's a mess with what they're doing. And children play this game. And you know what? I'm all for this common sense thing right here. You see, thank you, Zero. You're the voice of common sense for Simmers. You're the best. Thank you. Just subscribed. Join just because I saw people bitching over this on Reddit. That group loves inclusion, does nothing but erase. Body type A and B. And that's also the other thing. You're seeing all these games, instead of male, female body, it's body type A, body type B. And they're so blind to the fact that it's literally removing the concept of genders to appeal to this weird, woke, neutral, like gender neutral narrative that you have to have everybody the same. You can't have anybody different by gender. They don't see that that's a woke ideology. Dragon Quest is doing it too. The new Dragon Quest remaster or remake. And people are like, oh, all these right-wing grifters are just complaining about something that's always been in video games. No, it hasn't always been in video games. All right? Yeah, there are some games and titles that have done it, but there needs to be a clear distinction between male, female, and our stuff, in my opinion. When you remove it, That's when you start to get all this weird cringe bullshit. And they take an inch and then they take a mile later and they start to inject other crap and other nonsense in the game. So yeah, the Sims update and just man, the Sims, has this community always been this fucking cringe? Always been this cringe? I don't get it. But definitely, it wouldn't surprise me if there's weird groomers and pedos playing this fucking game. So yeah, this political BS remover thing is pissing everybody off that is in favor of this weird Love Struck update for whatever reason. What are you guys' thoughts? Let me know down below. I'll see you on the next one.